busy. Quick Trip's got you. Food's here.
It's time for the announcements. For the record, brought to you by Glendy Nilsson Funeral Home and Cremation Services and Olson Funeral and Cremation. 2 funeral homes, 1 common mission in Fergus Falls. Luane Gerald Hernus, 85, died January 24th at Astera Health in Wadena. A memorial service for Luane will be held this afternoon at 2 o'clock at Bethel Lutheran Church of Battle Lake. Visitation begins at 1. Mary Jo Kildee, 94, of Battle Lake, died January 22nd. Funeral service for Mary will be held on Monday, February 3rd at Olson Funeral and Cremation. Visitation begins at 10. James Jim D. Brown, 75, of Dalton, died January 29th at his home. A memorial service for Jim will be held at 11 o'clock Wednesday, February 5th at Olson Funeral and Cremation. Visitation begins at 10. This concludes the announcements.
When it comes to honoring a life well lived, 2 names stand out: Glendy Nielsen Funeral Home and Cremation Services and Olson Funeral and Cremation. 2 local funeral homes with a rich history in Fergus Falls. Together, they stand with a shared commitment of compassionate care and to support families during life's most challenging moments. When you need the guidance and understanding to help honor your loved ones with dignity and respect, trust both Glendy Nielsen and Olson Funeral Homes. 2 funeral homes, 1 common mission in Fergus Falls.
Start your day with a breakfast as fresh as your morning at Fabled Farmer. Enjoy dishes like the Egg Scramble Bowl, farm fresh eggs, organic brown rice, and vibrant veggies, or the Sweet Potato Bowl with roasted sweet potatoes, black beans, and a savory maple drizzle. Prefer something classic? Try our thick sliced French toast or hearty omelets made just the way you like. Eating better begins with better breakfast. Join us from 8 to 11 a.m. at Fabled Farmer in Fergus Falls, where fresh is always on the menu.
Ready to refresh, renovate, and reimagine your home? The Fergus Falls Home and Garden Show, presented by Fergus Home and Hardware, is coming to the Bigwood Event Center March 8th and 9th. Explore the latest in home improvement, landscaping, remodeling, and more. Admission is just $5 for adults, and kids 12 and under are free. The first 300 attendees get a swag bag with cool stuff from Leaf Filter, Vector Windows, and Jesse Shield with eXp Realty. Spaces are filling up fast. Secure your spot. Visit FergusFallsHomeandGardenShow.com.
Tired of working with digital marketing agencies 1,000 miles away who don't get your community? At Leighton Engage, we keep it local. Real strategists, real people, right here. With a deep understanding of your community, we create campaigns that truly resonate. We pair you with a dedicated local strategist who knows your market and audience inside and out. Tailored solutions, real results, marketing that works.
Leighton Engage. Find your focus.
From the lakes to the plains to anywhere in the world, KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app. News Talk 1250 AM KBRF, Fergus Falls. From the lakes to the plains to anywhere in the world, KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app. News Talk 1250 AM KBRF, Fergus Falls.
News Talk 1250 KBRF now presents The Coaches Show with Craig Olson. Brought to you by Nelson Auto Center, Quality Toyota, LB Homes, American Federal Bank, American Legion, the Minnesota Motor Company, and by the Artisan Agency. Here's KBRF Sports Director Craig Olson.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the program as we are here on News Talk 1250 KBRF and, of course, streaming live through the Fergus Now app as well. And we're going to talk with Matt Johnson to begin with Otter Boys basketball. Before we get into it, though, I do want to remind you that today we have Spartan basketball. It is at 3 o'clock. The men play against Minnesota West, and it's at M State. And we'll have it on channel 977 FM and AM 1020. No women's game today as they continue to struggle to get the roster full so they can compete. The Spartans have a couple of injuries which will be getting better here this next week, but today's women's game is not going to happen. So just the men's game at 3 o'clock today. Matt Johnson is with us this morning, getting up early after a long trip to Rocori last night. That's the way it is in the Central Lakes Conference, Matt. A road game for the Otters, very rare. Is it a short trip, right?
Yeah, it's usually get home around 11:30, and by the time you wind down, it ends up being a late night. But fun trips. Those bus rides are good experiences. Kids love them. try to get them some decent food on the way home. Last night we got some burger baskets for the road home, so we got to eat well on the way home. But yeah, they get to be late nights and makes some of the weeks a little bit long.
Well, you had a pretty good week. You you got beat by West Fargo last Saturday, and then beat Detroit Lakes 89-72 on Tuesday, and then last night get Ricori on the road 75-61. A couple of things that we've talked about the last few weeks seem to kind of progress this week, and those are you're shooting the ball better. Last night you made 10 out of 23 threes. You hit 45% against DL from the floor, and then your turnovers, 7 turnovers against DL, 8 against Ricori. You'll take those numbers, both categories.
Yeah,
right?
we look at offensive efficiency quite a bit, and what are things you need to do? Well, you need to shoot better, which means you need to make sure you're taking the right shots, and you have to take care of the basketball. And so when you're in single digit turnovers, just the extra amount of shots you get gives you that little wiggle room in terms of shooting percentage. But I feel like last night we had 20, I think it was 20 assists to 8 turnovers, and so we're moving the ball well. We had 2 guys with 7 assists last night.
Nice.
Alex Ellison and Ryan Hurst both had 7 assists, so we're sharing the ball really well. I feel like we've got a pretty good rhythm there offensively with what we're doing. Defensively, we've been dialed in, and that creates some offense for us too. But yeah, the turnover number is a big one for us that we're excited about.
Let's just go back to last Saturday for a minute against Fargo Davies. You were up 7 at halftime, and then they kind of came out of the halftime fired up and hot, and before you know it, you're down double digits. So what was the problem in the second half compared to the first half? What hurt you?
Yeah, it was Packers, West Fargo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, we get Davies in a couple weeks.
That's right.
But West Fargo, yeah, we played a terrific first half. Really battled. They're a big physical team. They're really long. Second half, they went to a 1-3-1 zone, and their 3 middle guys go 6'5", 6'6", 6'5", in that length. We struggled a little bit to try to penetrate the zone, and when that happens, you've got to shoot it well. And we had some really good corner 3 looks that just didn't go. And when you don't shoot the ball well against the zone, a big, long, athletic zone, it's hard to score. So I thought they played really well. It's a really good, talented team that we competed well. Just at the end of the day, didn't shoot it quite well enough.
Tuesday against Detroit Lakes, that's a lot of points, 89-72, and the Lakers. What makes the Lakers a problem when they're on offense? Because they don't have long offensive possessions, do they?
Well, right. I think their goal is to try to score 100 every night. So they're gonna get downhill early in a possession, and the first time they see the rim, they're gonna let it fly. I think they shot 38 threes that game, and I would guess that's pretty standard for them. And they have some kids that can really shoot it. You look at getting some stat reports going into our game, and they had 2 guys, a guy shooting 48%, 46%, 42%, 40 on volume. So guys that can really shoot it. And so you've got a transition D was a huge focus for us. I thought our guys did a really good job defensively. You say holding them to 73, but in terms of the number of possessions that happen, I wouldn't say they're an elite defensive team because they want to get the ball back quickly. They'll give you your 2 so they can go get 3, and that's a little bit of it. So the 89 didn't necessarily surprise me. I was pleased with the 73. I thought we did a good job defensively. Struggled rebounding the ball early in the game. I didn't think we rebounded well early, but had a much better second half. Did a really nice job to get that win.
Some good stat lines for you. You had a lot of offense, obviously, a lot of opportunity there. Double-double for Ryan Hurst, 20 points, 10 boards, blocked a shot. That's kind of, I'd like to know what the streak is that you have blocked shots going here for Ryan, and you get a lot of blocked shots this year, not just Ryan.
Right, Ryan. Levi had one last night where he pinned it off the backboard. Kid thought he had a layup, and Levi smacked it off the backboard, and we get a run out. It lands at the 3-point line, and Henry gets a run out. It's our rim protection this year is as good as it's been, and Ryan's such a huge part of that. it's so nice when you know you can get out and pressure on the perimeter when you have somebody behind you that can protect the rim and make shots difficult.
What's the deal here, Matt? All these guys can leap out of the gym. You know, I mean, you think of when you played or when I was in high school watching our team play, we didn't have guys that could leap like that.
No, you know, I think some of it's winning the genetic lottery. And then a lot of it is this group of seniors I has spent more time in the weight room and working on their athleticism and their bodies than any group I've ever been around. I think it translated to their football season, and it's translated to their basketball season. And you go down the list of Ryan and Levi, Jack Ratz, Alex and Isaac Ellis and Luke Pearson. Those guys spend, Micah Johnson, those guys spend a ton of time in the weight room. And so I'm not surprised that they're really good athletes. But I've never, playing, coaching, I've never been around a team that has so many kids that are leapers, that can jump, that can get off the deck. And so it makes it exciting, makes it fun, and gives you a significant advantage in parts of the game. Yeah, you might have one or two, but 6 or 7. Well, and right, most years you remember that one or two dunks that was kind of a big dunk. And last night we walked out of the game, and on the bus ride home, I looked at our coach and I said, "Is this the first game all year we didn't have a dunk?" Huh? I think it might be. So that's not bad. That is pretty good. Yeah. Henry Bethel had 25 that night for you. Henry's so capable of producing a stat line like this. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. I love to see the assist numbers from Henry. You get him up in the 6, 7 assists, and that means just good things for this team. And he's done a really good job of that. We've asked him to continue moving the ball and play with a point guard's mindset and be a distributor. Last night he had a play where he caught it on the wing and could have taken the 3, and he threw one more pass to Isaac in the corner, and what left Henry's hands, you heard him yell, "Shoot it, shoot it, shoot it." And of course, Isaac shoots it and makes it, right? That confidence that it gives to his teammates. And so he's done a much better job growing his game in that regard, and fun to see those assist numbers go up. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to beat a really good team and to achieve our goals. And to do that, we need everybody being a part of that, everybody scoring, everybody defending, sharing the ball, and he knows that. And so when he gets his guys involved, that's really there's an end goal there, right, of beating a really good team and getting guys confident and ready to do that. I loved your quote here from your Detroit Lakes game. You made the quote that Levi's motor, talking about Levi King, is an X factor, and overall, we competed well as a team tonight, but Levi kind of sparked you. And, we've talked about Levi a lot, and he's kind of one of those guys that just gets it done every night. Yep. Yeah. Jason Retzloff before the game last night was asking me about guys, and Levi walked by, and I just said, "I love that kid." He said he's been playing well. I said, "It's so good," right? Yeah. He just, I love that it's effort. For him, it's just motor, effort, instinct, compete, and he's unflappable, right? He just continues to go and work. And I always said it, we don't run a thing on offense for Levi King, but he gets double digits every night, right? He finds ways to impact the game defensively, rebounding, block shots. His offensive rebounding ability is as good as I've ever been around. Just the understanding of how the ball's coming off the rim, right? Dennis Rodman would talk about that a lot, how he just knew where the ball was coming off the rim. And that's why he went and got it, because he could anticipate, and Levi has an ability like that. Last night at Rocori, you got off the bus and got off to a good start. That doesn't always happen, but an 11-2 run to start the game on the road, that's a good thing. Yeah, and that can be a tough place to play. On the road in the CLC, it feels like they're all tough places to play. Long bus ride. Had some bus troubles getting there. That's always fun. Yeah, we got there. So we got out, shot well early, made some shots, got defensive stops. And we've been begging our guys for 36 minutes. We've had some really good first halves, really good second halves. West Fargo, great first half. DL, great second half. And try to string together 36 minutes. And I thought our guys did a really good job of that last night and getting off to a good start. Coach Strand always talks to our guys about 3-minute increments, win the first 3 minutes. First 3 minutes, that's all you got to focus on. And I thought our guys did a great job of that.
Tyler Prom had 20 of his 26 in the first half and was knocking down threes. I think he had 5 of 7 in the first half for Ricori. What allowed him to be so effective in that first half?
You know, we didn't guard the ball well in the first half. And I thought Ricori had a terrific game plan. They really they got downhill and sprayed out of that pretty well and found the right guys at the right spots. And we really needed to clean up winning our one-on-one battle and keeping the ball in front of us a little better. And I thought as the game went, we adjusted much better to that and did a better job in keeping the ball in front. But when you don't keep it in front, it requires help defense. And then offenses, you know, we call it playing dominoes. You know, just keep passing, keep that defense chasing. And they did that to us. And Tyler Prom seemed to be on the receiving end of a lot of the good passes.
Yeah, and he was making those shots.
Yeah.
So. Now, Micah Johnson last night, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that Mike is capable any night of putting a double-digit number up there, but he's got other roles that he's filling, handling the ball a lot and distributing the ball a lot and defending aggressively. And last night he scored 16 for you. And it looks, just from what I'm reading and listening to the game some last night, too, he and Alex Ellison, who had 7 assists and 11 points, were 2 key members of that win last night.
Yeah, they were really good. Micah, you know, it all starts on the defensive end for him. He had a couple pick sixes, a couple steals at the top of the key that turned into layups. Hit a 3 on our first possession of the game on a really nice pass. We had an inside out look against the zone, and he was the on the receiving end of that. Got him some confidence going. He shot fake, 1 dribble pull up on another 3 a little bit later in that half. So you could just, he looked confident last night. And I think a lot of it stemmed from that early look he had that he hit. But he, you know, what he does on the defensive end for us is special too. But yeah, really good night for Micah. Fun to see it come together. You know, a kid who puts a ton of time in, works on his shot as much as anybody. And so it's fun to see that start to go for him. And Alex too. You know, Alex has been shooting it really well lately. He's been good, and we're relying on him more and more offensively to give us a little point production, just because he's really dialed in. You know, he's strong at the rim, but his shot from the perimeter right now looks really good.
Got to be tough on coaches to figure out how to defend the Otters right now. You're so athletic and so many guys contributing. If they're going to double team and focus on Henry or on Ryan Hurst, you've got Levi and Micah and Alex who are going to find a way. So, yeah, tough assignment for every coach, I'm sure, this playing the Otters. How about this week? You get a makeup game at Little Falls, get to make another long bus trip, and then at Apollo on Thursday. So there's a couple of tough games. So Apollo's a conference game.
Yeah, couple. Little Falls is always a really hard place to play. Yeah. Not I would say not one of the more talented teams that Little Falls has had, but they played a really, really good Pequot Lakes team to a 10-point game last night. So I think that it's a team that I think is improving a lot. You look at their numbers; they're holding teams into really low-scoring numbers. So I think defensively, I think they're a really good team. So we'll have to be ready for that. I'm guessing it'll be a dogfight on Tuesday night. It always is at Little Falls. That usually is a bloodbath. That's a place you go and get mugged. So it's that'll be a tough one. And then Apollo's, you know, Apollo is in that battle for the, you know, a 3, kind of fighting for that 3 spot when you look at QRF wise in our conference, and right behind us. So that's a big game for us in terms of where we want to be seeding wise at the end of the year. And in Isaiah Washington, I would say the best scorer that we see all year. So they really give you a problem in that regard. He can shoot it from anywhere. A really good passer. He'll play at St. Cloud State next year. But a really good basketball player. And so another place that you have to show up ready to play.
All right, Matt. Thank you for coming in, talking Otter basketball.
You bet.
All right,
Thanks.
Matt Johnson, the head coach of the Otters. We're going to take a break. We'll talk swimming with Randy Hansen on the other side. Don't go away. This is a Coach's Show, Saturday mornings through March 8th. That's our last show this year on News Talk 1250, KBRF, and streaming live through the Fergus Now app.
Portions of today's program may be pre-recorded.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your forecast from the KBRF Weather Center. Mixed precipitation possible at times today, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 36, winds out of the southeast 15 to 20 miles per hour. A few flurries possible at times. Tonight, lows around 21. A dusting of snow today with another inch tomorrow night through Monday. Right now, it's 25 degrees.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls has a fantastic starting lineup with America's 3 favorite truck brands, Ford, Ram, and GMC. Nelson Auto can help you enjoy your time out on the road. Check out our starting lineup at Nelson Auto Center, Fergus Falls.
Finding that missing shin guard. Remembering whether it's a home or away game. Getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan. Oh, come on, Ref! That's simple human sense.
Visit the Arneson Agency at their new location, 120 East Lincoln, Fergus Falls.
Here's to a great season for all our favorite high school athletes. American Legion is a favorite too and serves up everyone's favorite barbecued ribs. American Legion of Fergus Falls, open each Wednesday through Saturday on Pebble Lake Road in Fergus Falls.
Hi, my name is Lori, and I'm the housing manager at Sheridan House in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. If you're 55 or older and looking for a quiet and comfortable apartment with underground parking, meals available for purchase, a flexible month-to-month lease, plus $500 off your first month's rent, give me a call at 218-998-7404 or go to lbhomes.org/Sheridan. I'd love to show you around and see if Sheridan House is right for you.
The small SUV lineup at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls has never been better. Whether you're looking for an all-wheel drive vehicle to get you through the winter months or a vehicle to store all your goodies on a summer road trip, the Chevy Equinox and the Buick Envision have you covered. Reliable, fuel efficient, and full of safety features. Find your new vehicle today. Minnesota Motor. South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls. The show. Randy Hansen's here, head coach of the Otter boys swimming and diving team. They practice Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock, so you're up and at 'em.
Oh, we are, yeah, ready to go.
And we can say the Otters are, well, last week we were saying we're starting to get healthy, but now you're there, you're healthy.
Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. You know, the last one that we really needed back was Landon, and he swam for the first time in a long time the last week or so. And then I finally saw the old, look in his eyes and the I don't want to say he wasn't trying, but the effort, that he was able to put forth was there finally, at the last couple meets. So yeah, we're barring some illness that creeps up, we're back to normal, which is great because we're running out of days.
Well, and that's part of every season, isn't it? You got to battle through things like illnesses and injuries and just adversities that come up that you're not expecting, and kind of makes you better overall,
Yeah, it takes the guys out for a little bit, but, as long as it's not something, it's not like a torn ACL where you're out for weeks, or the whole season. So we just got to ride the sickness wave, and school's kind of gross this time of year anyway. So there's just a lot of sickness everywhere, and we just gotta hold it and hope for the best.
When you go through those things, you always hear, and we've heard since we were kids, look for the silver lining, whatever. Where did you feel the Otters gained some benefits from people who were out of the lineup and kids that then got opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's, that goes with any sport. You just got the next man up mentality. It's like, we got holes we got to fill, and so we just start moving some people around, and it might mean we're not going to win an event, and so be it, but when we're a small enough team, we're actually able to do that quite a bit. And so, on Thursday at Sartell, we had a bunch of guys that swam events that weren't their normal events, and it was great. It was fun to watch. We had some young guys that swam some new events for the first time ever. I think the 9th grader Sol Ashur, who's always a breaststroke, and we threw him in the backstroke, and he's like, I don't know, but you can do backstroke, it's fine, So and it was great. He did a good job, and and some of our other guys swam some different events too. So you just kind of, you get, some insight into what they can do, and they kind of surprise themselves sometimes. So it's nice.
Well, that's the thing about this sport too, Randy. You can score out your meet ahead of time based on what you're seeing from different meets that these guys have been in during the year. So when you know you're up against a Sartell, like one of the best in the state or the best in the state in a lot of cases, you can do some of that stuff and just make it kind of a challenge and a fun thing for these kids.
Yeah, you know, and Sartell's actually down this year more than they have been in a lot of years. So they were, it was a lot closer than we've ever swam them, and we actually won 2 of the 3 relays, and they had their good guys in there. So, and our relays are pretty good too, so that doesn't hurt. But yeah, you know, and that's okay. We go with that mentality that, you know, you can swim some different things, and you give some guys some good races, and we'll see what happens.
Well, 5 of the 6 relays that you swam in those 2 duels, you won. So let's talk about relays and where you're at right now. And are you at that point where we don't need to tweak much here on these relays? We're kind of settled in. There are some lineup things I know that you're going to deal with.
Yeah, the personnel is pretty well set for the most part for those relays. I mean, the medley has been pretty much set from day one. You know, and the 4 free relay has been pretty much set from day one. And the 2 free has, you know, kind of been going back and forth a little bit with order and personnel, but you know, the medley finally went below, you know, 140. They went 146.7, I think, on the other day against DL. That was good. We needed to get back down underneath there. And there's a couple things we need to fix with some stroke mechanics on a couple guys on that one. So we got some time drops coming in the future on that. So I think we're feeling really good about where, you know, it's Reese to Ethan Strandy to Lucas to you know, Jaden. So that's we're in pretty good shape. You know, if we're pretty close coming into the end and we put Jaden in there, we know he's going to hunt those guys down. So that's always fun to watch. And our 4 free relay has been really rock solid. It's been one of the best in the conference in the sections all year. So and they're sitting really good. And that's been pretty well set too with Landon to Matthew to Reese to Jaden too. So that's those ones are pretty well locked in. And then the 2 free relay is getting there too. We just haven't quite all put it together. Gabe Carlson finally got below 24 seconds in his relay split, that was huge. We've been really working on that, and he's been working on his stroke technique with that. So that was awesome to see, and get Landon back healthy, and then you know get Matthew coming off the 500 where he's got some gas in the tank yet, because that's the exact next event. So that's kind of hard, but he's a competitor and digs down. So. You know, and you get Landon off the blocks and have him 100% healthy, and then Gabe or Ethan Strandy, we're working on a few things with him. So we've still got some big improvements coming with that one. But overall, going into the end of the season, we feel pretty good about where we're sitting with all 3 of those in the section meets. So top 3 go to state. So we feel good about where we're at. But you know, we got to swim those times on the section meet day.
Right, that's the key. 121 to 92 in the duel. At Detroit Lakes, you won, well, the majority of the events there, kind of did what you hoped to do and expected to do.
Yeah. You know, and DL's a pretty young team. They've got one really good guy, Blake Swenson, who's going to place in the top 8 at state in his probably the 50 free and the 100 back. So that was a great race for Reese in the 100 back. Reese had a PR that day. That was awesome. But yeah, they don't have quite the personnel and the depth that we have. So we kind of, you know, put our guys in position to win, and we figured, and we did take care of business. And DL's a kind of a crazy place to swim, you know, because they're at the community center, and it's a weird atmosphere, and they've got the the seating's kind of hot, weird, and it's a sauna in there, and you know, so it's just we had to talk to the guys like, okay, this is not the normal pool, and you just have to kind of get past that because it is what it is, and you can't have that negative talk about, oh, this is so strange and it's hot and I don't like it, and you know, you're just adding time to your race. So yeah, it was great. It's close by, so that was nice, and it was nice to get a win after a couple weeks of not.
Yeah, and you mentioned a couple of times you're going to see this time coming down. It's going to be a personal best, and this is the time of year you start to see that, right, where the kids are getting their personal best or season best and just continuing to improve.
Yeah, a little bit, you know, or close to it. So, you know, if our top guys are dropping 2, 3, 4 seconds, then I don't know how that happens this time of year, because that would be pretty unusual. So, you know, the fact that they're, you know, a little bit, you know, a little drop, you know, half a second, couple tenths, or within their best times, then we know we're in good shape. And You know, I was talking to Jason, my assistant, yesterday, and I said, this is the time of year, too, where I just, you start to question, like, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? I mean, these guys, I don't know if we're going to be there. And then yesterday at practice, I really saw a lot of good things from them, like, okay, we're all right. You know, so even coaches this time of year question, did we train hard enough? Did we do this? Should we do more of that? What are we doing? Oh my gosh, we're so dumb. And then it's like, okay, I think we'll be okay. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And the other nice thing right now is you're home for some meets now, which is really nice because you've had a lot of road activity, and it's a long road trip when you go on the road in the Central Lakes Conference. So how nice is it for the guys to just be able to get into the familiar locker room and get ready to compete at home?
Yeah, Tuesday we were in DL. Thursday Sartell came to us, and now Apollo is the makeup one from before Christmas or whenever that was. And they come here on Tuesday, and then Park Rapids comes here on Thursday. So it is really nice to be back home to finish off the season. Not just from our fans and things, but just not have to travel. And this time of year is it's just rough. It's just hard. So home cooking is always fun to end the season for sure.
We talked a little bit more last week about some of the guys who are not your first and second place finishers regularly, the guys we've been talking about who kind of carry the brunt of the load for you scoring wise. But you've seen a lot of guys really contributing down through the lineup, fourth place, fifth place, guys like Riley Anderson and Isaac Rotten, just looking at Keaton Vodova, those guys who are just making great strides. And as you see this team kind of come into, varsity mode here, are these guys getting more confidence, Randy, and just feeling a lot better about being a part of the varsity and, hey, I can contribute here?
Yeah, and they really don't have a choice. I mean, because we want to put 3 people in every event, so we want to fill those as best we can. The 100 fly is probably the one that we don't put 3 people in every event. So we just put people in there, and then if they keep succeeding. So like Keaton Vodova swam the 100 fly a couple weeks back, and he's been doing pretty well. And so he's been our 3rd guy now for a lot of events, and when I can get him into that one. And Riley is I don't know if he considers himself a 200 and a 500 guy, but he's been having so much success with the 500, and his time just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. And so now he's doing distance practices and with Coach Sozel too. So I'm not sure how excited he is about it, but he just, every time he gets out of the pool, it's like, hey man, that's another PR for you. That's another PR. So that's all you ever do is PR. So and some of that is just those guys growing physically too, so they're growing into their bodies, their brain and their body is catching up as far as what they're supposed to be doing swimming wise. So that really is taking place for those guys. And Isaac Rott and Keaton Vodova both had section meet experience last year. So that helps. Riley, I don't believe he didn't make finals if he did swim at the section meet. So he's a little bit on the young side there yet, but we just need those guys. We don't have the depth, and they just they step up and they compete hard. So it's good. It's nice.
With that Tuesday, Thursday schedule you've had now and will have the next couple of weeks, have you settled into a pretty good routine practice wise and comfortable with what you're doing away from the meets?
Yeah, we tell them we don't stop for anything. I mean, even though Sartell was going to be a tough, we're not resting for that. And I'm sure Sartell didn't rest for us either, and because why would you? So we just keep pounding away. I mean, it's today will be definitely lighter. Yesterday was a good one coming off of meet, and a little bit of recovery stuff, but we just got to go. We got to make hay, this week and next week, going setting ourselves up for the section meet. And I feel pretty good about where we're at, but we don't really rest for, a little bit for conference, but it's all about sections at the end of the month.
Work to do here.
Yeah, for sure.
Apollo Tuesday, Park Rapids Thursday at home. If you want to get out and watch the Otters, 6 o'clock is when the meet gets rolling.
Yeah.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Have
all
good
right.
practice now.
Yeah, thanks.
Randy Hansen, head coach of the Otter boys swimming and diving team. We'll continue with the program. We'll talk Otter girls basketball with Josh Steer after the break. You're listening to the Coaches Show on News Talk 1250 KBRF and streaming live through the Fergus Now app.
Quality Toyota is Proud to salute the achievements of each quality player. It takes teamwork to compete, and the Quality Player Award recognizes the extra effort by an individual in each athletic contest. Quality Toyota commends the hard work, dedication, and quality efforts of these outstanding youth. That attitude will help each quality player as they go forward. Congratulations to each of the quality players from Quality Toyota on West Lincoln Avenue in Fergus Falls. QualityToyota.net. Let's go places.
This Valentine's Day, fall in love with the menu at Fabled Farmer in Fergus Falls. From pesto Caesar salad starters to mouth-watering mains like Marry Me Chicken, blood orange ponzu salmon, or New York strip steak. Every bite is crafted with care. Don't forget dessert. Choose between rich, sinful chocolate cake or creamy New York cheesecake. Open Valentine's Day, Friday night from 4:30 to 9 p.m. Treat your Valentine to a night of fine dining. Call Fabled Farmer now to reserve your table.
Hi, my name is Peggy Stockinger, and thanks to Bonnie and her design from Cornerstone Countertops, we got the pantry we always wanted in our kitchen. She helped us with the style and the color of our cabinets, and with the help of Keith and Wayne's installation expertise, we were able to make some adjustments, and the cabinets and countertops came out great. Thank you, Bonnie, Keith, and Wayne at Cornerstone Countertops.
Cornerstone Cabinets and Countertops, located next to Quality Toyota on Lincoln Avenue, Fergus Falls. Are you looking for a 4-day work week? How about no weekends? Prairie Farms is hiring a CDL Class A milk delivery driver for their Fergus Falls location. Prairie Farms offers competitive wages of $30 per hour, a comprehensive benefits package, and home nightly. For details, visit prairiefarms.com and click on the Careers tab or call 416-0061, 218-416-0061. Join the dedicated team at Prairie Farms, a farmer-owned company.
Welcome back to the show. Josh Steer is here to talk Otter girls basketball. The 15-4 Otters?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
You kind of, this week, I think you really, and we might have talked about this a little bit when we were conversing during the week, but you probably really put yourself in a real good position for that number 2 seed right now.
Yeah, beating Bemidji on the road, 4A team above 500, and then taking care of business with Ricori, and then Sartell on Thursday night that's a big win for us in the QRF because they're a really good 4A team too. So QRF wise, I think we're sitting pretty good for that 2 spot, and if we could, if a few things could go our way, it's a really difficult path, but you could be looking at the 1 seed if you can beat Alexandria this coming weekend, and then you have to have somebody else in the conference beat them too. So. Some things have to fall into place, a lot of scenarios to play out, but we still got 7 to play, so still got to take care of business.
I love the scores this week, Josh. I'm sure you do too. 51-41 over Bemidji, and then 62-33 over Ricori, and then maybe the most impressive one of the week, 61-37 over Sartell. You're not giving up many points, and boy, that's a great formula for wins if you don't give up many points.
Absolutely. Coach Sternberg coordinating the defense this year, and we've thrown some full court pressure in that's given some teams some troubles, and maybe not turning the ball over necessarily in that pressure, but just by the time they get the ball past half court, you've already eaten up 9 seconds of the shot clock, and you're not in your offense yet. So you look up in the shot clock, and you're starting to get to that halfway point before you're even set into your offense. So I think we're giving teams some troubles there, but yeah, the girls have really bought in, and the defensive system is very similar to what we've ran, but a few tweaks in there, and Coach Sternberg's got them playing really hard, and it's scary when you're holding teams in the 30s. Our team average I think right now is we're giving up 39 points a game.
Wow!
And if you can do that consistently, I mean you give yourself a chance to win. No matter what you shoot percentage-wise, because the ball's got to go in a little bit. So if you're doing that, you give yourself the best chance possible to win.
So how good is your defense at creating offense? Are you getting a lot of transition opportunities off your defense?
Yeah, I think we really showed that probably down in Ricori, because they sat in a diamond and 1. I call that kind of a junk defense. So they're going to face guard Brand, and they're going to make life kind of difficult for you in the half court, because it's just a defense you don't normally see. And So we really relied on pressure. I think we got like 21 points off turnovers, and that's the difference in the game. So we do rely on that pressure, and we rely on creating extra possessions for ourselves, because that just gives us more opportunities to score. So anytime we're doing that, we're finding ways to get to 60, and a lot of that comes from our defense.
Yeah, it's funny. You look at the contrast here from game to game, from Ricori to Sartell. So they focus on Bryn at Ricori. She gets 8 points. Okay, but she has 8 assists, 9 rebounds, 6 steals. Even if Bryn doesn't get her points, she's going to find a way to hurt you.
Right, and she's got a lot of trust in her teammates, and Hattie Fullhart had a great game down in Ricori, finishing around the rim and finishing from the outside. She was 2 for 2 from the arc. Ruby had a great game too. Bella had a great game. So Bryn's putting the ball out there, and it's a lot of trust as far as pushing the ball, especially in transition. Some of the passes she makes, I kind of like, oh, is that going to get there? And then Bella will come down with it and finish it for 2. So it's been really fun. It's a fun style of play to watch. It's a fun style of play to actually play the game. I think the girls are having a lot of fun with it because it's so much more fun. There's so much more enjoyment and success when you're sharing in the ball, and a lot of people feel good when there's an assisted basket. So it's really fun. I can't. This has been a really fun year.
Well, to finish my contrast here, my point there, after that night, Bryn comes out against Sartell and scores 25 for you. But you mentioned Hattie against Ricori. She had 20 points. Then she, had 2 points the other night against Sartell, but she led the team with 9 rebounds and 4 steals and 3 assists. So it's just fun to see how your girls adjust to the different types of looks they're getting out there from the opposing team defense, and everybody just seems to be, adapting to what's being given to them during a particular game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Different girls stepping up to positively impact the game, and that's kind of been the message is how are you going to impact the game? And so many people have said this, smart coaches, far smarter than I, but 95% of the game of basketball is played without the basketball in your hands.
Mhm.
Because there's only so many minutes on the floor. There's only so many opportunities when there's 4 other girls on the floor with you, and you're playing defense half the time. So you don't have the ball in your hands very much. So how are you going to positively impact the game? And we look at rebounds, we look at deflections, we look at steals, assists, and those things. And it's amazing to see, like you said, Hattie Fullhart's stat line. Yeah, she scored a lot down in Ricori. Doesn't score a whole lot at home against Sartell, but impacts the game. Same thing with Bella Anderson. She pulls down. She had a great scoring night in Bemidji, but or Ricori, I think. And but then she pulls down 8 rebounds too. So Julia Hychek, when we went to Bemidji, I think she had 7 rebounds and 4 assists and a couple steals and no turnovers. So you're finding ways for everybody to contribute in some capacity, and that's the great thing about a team sport is it takes a bunch of people working towards the same goal.
Talk about Ruby Ellison's season. I mean, she has just been just lights out for you against Ricori. She had 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, and then against Sartell, she comes through with 18 points, makes 3 or 4 threes, has 7 rebounds. Ruby's been like money out there.
She has, and I think I've heard a lot of coaches talk about the illnesses going around, and some kids show their illness differently, and I don't think Ruby was feeling real great when we went down to Ricori, but she really bounced back really well against Sartell. So she's just been a constant for us. Whether it's scoring from the outside, I mean, she can shoot it really, really well. And then I think she's really developed her game as far as getting to the basket. Sartell, I don't know how many drives she had that got her either to the free throw line or an and one, because she's attacking, and she kind of has that scoring mentality. And I'm gonna be able to physically beat my defender and get to the rim, and she can do that because she's really athletic. She's probably one of the most athletic kids we have in our program right now, and she's strong, and those things matter, especially when you play good teams like Sartell and Brainerd and Alec and the teams of the like. So for her to step up, I think that's been one of the biggest improvements that we've seen from last year to this year.
61-37. That score, I had to look twice on when that score came in because Sartell's a good team. I mean, this is a team that's made some pretty impressive strides over the years in their program, and they're tough to beat, certainly on their floor. And they're usually, I haven't seen them firsthand, but they're usually pretty rangy and athletic. What did you do? You're playing great defense. What did you do specifically to hold them under 40 points?
Well, we stuck to what we do, and we added pressure. So the first time we played them, it was game 4, and we didn't have our full court pressures in yet, and we lost 50-49 down there. Tough place to play, and then turn around, a couple months later, and here we are hosting them, and we have our pressure in, and we're a little bit more comfortable in our system. We got our rotations figured out a little bit better too, and those things. So I think those things all factor into it, but there were some possessions in the second half where I looked at Coach Price and Coach Sternberg, and I just said, that's scary defense down there, because they weren't getting any look that they wanted. We were kind of taking everything away, and I thought, I was like, do we have 6 kids on the floor right now? Because we were covering everything, and it was really fun to see because there's so many things that can go wrong on a defensive rotation where if you're a half second late or if you don't help when you need to help and those things, and our girls are really playing well together, and it's really fun to see. And there's a lot of trust factor that goes into that defensive system, and the girls are communicating really well, and they're finishing with rebounds. So we're ending the possession. If it's a bad shot, we're securing that rebound, and then we're transitioning into offense.
Yeah, well, it was a pretty impressive win over Sartell. Now you just want to build on that. You go to Brainerd on Tuesday. What about the Warriors?
Yeah, we're kind of hitting the meat grinder of the schedule here with Sartell on Thursday, and then we got Brainerd on Tuesday, and then Alec on Friday, and we'll talk about that too, I'm sure. But Brainerd, they're tough too. They're just like Sartell. They're long, they're athletic. They've got a bunch of kids that can play good basketball, and unfortunately for them, they've had a couple of season-ending injuries. They had one at the beginning of the year, and they had one just a couple weeks ago. So, but they have enough kids waiting in the weeds that they can come back from that. So they're good. They're tough, and they're going to be good. They're one of the best teams in the conference. They'll be one of the better teams in 8-4A, just like Sartell. So we're gonna have to get on the bus, and we're gonna have to bring that defense with us because they can put up some points, and they can also defend. So we're gonna have to give ourselves the best chance possible by keeping them hopefully in the 40s.
Well, I know the way you're playing defensively, I think you might. And then Friday, Alexandria. Wendy's always got a tough team, and no matter when we play them, what year it is, where it is, it's a battle.
Yeah, well-coached team, Hall of Fame coach, 900 some wins, runs a great program, and they're the team to beat, right? They're the one with the target on their back. As far as the conference and the section go, they're the heavy favorite, no doubt about it. We played them to 20, if you can say that, when we went there. I thought we played really well for a majority of the game, and I think they played really, really well. When I looked at the stats, I mean, they shot the ball extremely well at their place. So, we got to make difficult shots for them. We have to make them make difficult shots. We're going to have to shoot the ball really well, and we want to close that gap, right? So we closed it from 40 at the section final a year ago to 20 when we played them there, and now the goal is to be there at the end of the game and make it a 1 or 2 possession game.
And how do you limit Hadley Toole to doing damage that she does every game?
She can kind of do it all. She's a really tough defend for us as a matchup goes. So, we'll have to do our best and hope she plays human because when we went there, I think she was 9 for 10. So if she's human, we have to make it difficult for her, and that's hard to do because she's really athletic and she's a really good basketball player. So we'll have to game plan for that one a little bit. We get an extra day, being it's a Friday game. So Brainerd first, and then we'll worry about Alexandria as the week goes on.
Be a great game if your schedule's busy and you can't get to a lot of games during the average week. I would put Friday night on the calendar, fans, and get out and watch that one.
I'd circle that one, and we could use all the support on that one. And there's nothing better than getting Wendy Kohler just a little frustrated with some noise.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, that's fun.
And before I let you go, you had your cancer awareness night, the Shoot for a Cure. Obviously, it's a great partnership between the school district, the community, and the Lake Region Cancer Care and Research Center.
Yeah, and how beneficial and blessed are we to have that facility in town for people to take advantage of. And anytime we can get the kids, the boys and girls programs to give back to a great cause like that, I mean, I think that's a great message for them to contribute to. So glad we can help out in any capacity. And there's a lot of people that go into making that work. You know, Katie Black and Alana Johnson and Jen Jensen. Those people put in a ton of time and effort into making those nights successful, and we really appreciate all that work. It goes pretty unsung sometimes. So thank you all.
All right, Josh, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Have a great week.
Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it.
Josh Steer, head coach of the Otter girls basketball team. We're back. We're talking hockey. Mike Donahue, I think, will be here to talk with us about the Otters. Don't go away. A little puck talk coming up after the break. You're listening to the Coaches Show on News Talk 1250
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus
KBRF.
Falls has a fantastic starting lineup with America's 3 favorite truck brands, Ford, Ram, and GMC. Nelson Auto can help you enjoy your time out on the road. Check out our starting lineup at Nelson Auto Center, Fergus Falls.
High-quality local embroidery for your community. Running Stitches is the choice for everything, from business logos to team apparel and personal projects. They bring your designs to life. Andrew and Allison Olson from Running Stitches Embroidery are proud supporters of local sports.
Quality Toyota is proud to salute the achievements of each quality player. It takes teamwork to compete, and the Quality Player Award recognizes the extra effort by an individual in each athletic contest. Quality Toyota commends the hard work, dedication, and quality efforts of these outstanding youth. That attitude will help each quality player as they go forward. Congratulations to each of the quality players from Quality Toyota on West Lincoln Avenue in Fergus Falls. QualityToyota.net. Let's go places.
Here's to a great season for all our favorite high school athletes. American Legion is a favorite too and serves up everyone's favorite barbecued ribs. American Legion of Fergus Falls, open each Wednesday through Saturday on Pebble Lake Road in Fergus Falls.
This Valentine's Day, make it a night to remember at Fabled Farmer in Fergus Falls. Start your evening with appetizers like a Prezi crostini or a spicy Thai wings. Then feast on your choice of blood orange ponzu salmon, marry me chicken, or a tender New York strip steak. End on a sweet note with a New York cheesecake or a sinful chocolate cake. Open Friday, Valentine's Day from 4:30 to 9 p.m. Reservations are highly recommended. Call today to secure your table at Fabled Farmer, where love meets delicious.
Business systems can be frustrating. Don't take it out on the printer. Let Liberty Business Systems simplify the chaos. With automated printing services and flexible contracts, you'll never feel frustrated or stuck with your business systems. Liberty Business Systems. Transparent, flexible, fearless.
Mike Donahue is joining us to talk Otter boys hockey. We're getting down there, Michael.
4 more. That's it. 2 more weeks.
Wow. Goes fast.
Yeah, it does.
Now, we haven't talked a lot about this because I don't want to dwell on it, but illness right now, going through schools, you're feeling it on your team.
Well, yeah, it was not a good week between illness and injury this week. Just talking to Coach Sears, he was leaving. I think we had 12 guys out of practice yesterday.
Wow.
So fighting through with 9 guys on JV team for 2 games this week, which is a challenge for those guys. But you tip your hat to them showing up with 9 skaters. You're looking at 6 forwards and 3D throughout a hockey game. That's a lot to ask for those kids to get through, and I just tip my hat to them to be able to get out and keep fighting and performing and looking at getting better.
That's like old guy hockey, you know, when you go out and you only have like 9 guys, but it doesn't work that good in high school. You got to get more than that out there. You had Northern Lakes on Tuesday, and they beat you by a score of 5-3. Shots were pretty even in that game, and you had your power play going a little bit there. A couple of power play goals from Parker Tilke. Are you looking better on the power play? Do you like what's happening there?
Well, tonight was a couple of adjustments. Guys out. Had a couple injuries that night, a couple of sicknesses. Adam Kennedy was out that night, so kind of slid Parker into a spot. It's some of these things happen on the day of a game, and you're what can we do as an adjustment without disrupting too many things? There's a lot more than just throwing a guy in. There's route positions, there's breakout positions, there's different personnel, there's spots on your power play. So it was an easy transition to put Parker in there. He plays that spot on the other power play unit, so he's in the same breakout location, and So we just felt, let's just keep him out there for both power play units. It made the most sense. We kind of joke too that person in his spot doesn't have to work that hard anyway, so he shouldn't really get tired. But Parker's athletic. He's got such good hand-eye in front. He showed great patience on both of those goals that he's able to score, and they were at big times.
Michael Schmidt and Jack Weldy had multiple points for you that night. They just continue to plug away and really have come into their own offensively. It seems like you can rely on them for at least some really good scoring opportunities, night in and night out.
Yeah, and that's they expect that out of themselves. And they've been the go-to guys, throughout their careers here with Fergus Falls Otter hockey, and they embrace it. They love it. It's a challenge to them. So thankful that they can always live up to that and meet that expectation to be able to put the team on their back, basically, per se. Every team needs that guy. And unfortunately, we've been able to find a few of them, with those two and the way Aiden Shaky and Adam have embraced those roles on this hockey team this year.
That game against Northern Lakes, it was 2-2 late in the second period, and they got one with less than 2 minutes to go in the period to take a 3-2 lead and gain some momentum. And it's so important then in the first part of that third period, you needed to go out and, number one, prevent them from making it a 2-goal lead, and number two, get that equalizer so that you give yourselves a chance, and you were able to do that.
Yeah, I thought we played a really good hockey game Tuesday night against a team that was a projected number one seed in our section, and let's see where we are. Like you say, we were able to tie that game. I thought we had a lot of good momentum times that second period. I thought we were really good. Kind of wore down in about the last 5 minutes of that second period, which was a little bit concerning. The break came at a good time for our team, I thought, and we were able to regroup. Our third period, I thought, was really good as well, and just come up a little bit short. Those are some things and lessons I think that we need to keep taking on times where we need a little more grit, a little more detail orientation at some of those times in the tough areas of the rink, and definitely things that are correctable and find ways to work on those parts to get better.
You came back from that game with a home game against Brainerd on Thursday and wound up with quite a battle against the Warriors. They wound up winning in overtime 4-3. They converted on 2 of their 3 power play opportunities. Talk about your penalty kill unit right now, and what are you working on there? What are you trying to perfect as you look at the final 4 games coming up?
You got to find ways to pressure effectively, pressure wisely, and then at the end of the day, you need to be able to defend. You need to eat a couple pucks. That's always huge on the penalty kill, and then you need to box out. You need to control sticks in front of our net, and that's how they're scoring a few of those goals. Their second one, we had a long 5-on-3 kill on their second power play goal. We did a great job. Tanner ate a couple pucks on that 2-man kill. We were able to clear a couple, and then I think they scored with 7 seconds left probably on that next one, which is just a heartbreaker when you get out and you commit that hard for that long, and then you just lose a check, you lose a stick on the back door. But those are the things that you need to, as you get a little bit tighter or a little bit tired, you need to dig deep and find a way to just sell out for the last 5 seconds.
You were down 2-0 in that one in the second period, but rallied and tied the game. And it seems like you don't like to be in that situation. And you've been in it too much this year where you're down early and you have to rally and come back and get back in the game. But your guys respond to that, and you were able to pull even and really make it a competitive third period.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you got to win hockey games, and that's not a winning formula. And we got to be able to learn that lesson that all the guys on the ice need to understand how important that first goal is, and the momentum and the energy that it can cause and bring, as opposed to being down 2 goals. How about try scoring 2? Let's get up 2. That was probably the most disappointing part, is you try not to watch scoreboards, but we had a really, really good first period. Controlled the play. We controlled the puck. That was something that we really emphasized. How can we possess the puck? Can we make some plays? And and we did a really good job with that. So it's the other end of the rink that you need to take care of. Their one goal is a shot from the blue line. Things that you need to be able to defend better with our wings up top, taking shooting lanes away, all the way down to our D and our centers doing a better job in front of the goalie. And then at the end of the day, the goalie's job is to save the puck. We need to find ways and keep working. We don't do a lot of drills, I don't think, probably not enough of them where the goalie's fighting through traffic in front of the net to be able to compete and find those pucks. So those are definitely things here in the next couple of weeks that we need to focus on and be able to defend those shots better.
You had a power play goal from Jack Weldy with Tanner Donahue and Michael Schmidt assisting that got the game even. How did that power play unfold for you?
We need to be able to make hockey plays. Brainerd's first power play goal, they made 3, 4, 5 passes to get us running. Our first couple power plays, we were one pass, the old adage, when you're penalty kill, you want one and done. And we played right into a Brainerd penalty kill. Our first couple power plays, it was one pass, one shot. That's easy to defend, right where that puck is going. So our guys did a good job. As we talked about, some different adjustments, different looks you need to do. It needs to be 2, 3 passes, get the killers running, get a goaltender moving. We're able to move a puck to the other side of the rink, and then as you can go back across, and now you've got a goalie moving 40 feet instead of 10 feet, and that challenges them. You've got killers moving, and it just opens things up for you.
Brainerd got that power play goal about 10 minutes into the third period to take the lead back, but then you scored with just a couple minutes left in regulation. Adam Kennedy got the goal from Schmidt and Shaky to put the game into overtime. And again, that combination, you those guys, Shaky and Schmidt and Kennedy, have just been playing well for you.
Yeah, and it was just to get a puck to the net kind of play, good line rush. Adam's shown through the year that he can shoot the puck when we can get him in some space, and we're able to get him just coming down the right wing. And you're sitting on the bench looking at the clock, looking at the goaltender. Is this the time? And I think I was just about to wave Holdy over, and then next thing you know, the puck's in the back of the net. So that was a great feeling with those guys when you look at their senior night and being able to have your seniors contribute on that goal with 2 minutes left and feeling really good about yourselves.
And the overtime, about 2.5 minutes into the overtime, they got the game winner. How did they set that one up?
It was self-induced again. We had a bad change. Changing when we needed to get a puck deep. That puck that should have got deep gets turned over. Goals are scored within 15 seconds of a turnover. Or actually, I think it's 7 or 8 seconds, to be honest with you, like 80% of goals. And that was another perfect example where we turned a puck over, and they had guys on the offensive side of it, which led to a breakaway, and they had a kid that was able to finish.
2 games this week, Wilmer and River Lakes. What's the competition look like for this week?
Well, we're down in Wilmer on Tuesday. They don't have enough guys for JV, so that's unfortunate for our JV guys. Maybe it's okay to get some of them healthy. I think we can get by us a couple days to nurse a couple injuries and hopefully get guys back. So and then Thursday, home with River Lakes. They got a 7-5 down in their rink. One player with 7 points. He had 5 goals. Yeah. So that's something that we certainly have to address and be more aware on that night. So that's certainly one that I know I'm looking forward to as a coach on trying to see what we can do to get that game back.
Did you get a chance to enjoy Hockey Day in Minnesota last week?
I didn't. There's a whole controversy on networking and how you get channels and don't get channels, and I don't know that we need to get into that here, but that's a whole nother level of things. But just kind of followed it a little bit. So it sounded like it was should have been a great day down at Valley Fair.
Yeah, you should have gone down there.
Yeah, we talked about it for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, hard to get away in the middle of the season like this when you're so busy with practices, schedules, and trying to stay healthy, right?
And try to spend a little time with the wife too. I know she appreciates that occasionally.
And not doing hockey things.
That's right. Yeah, that is right. Those are important parts as well to keep everything healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know you get to your share of youth hockey games too, watching all the upcoming Otters. That's always been kind of fun for you, I know, too. So.
Well, it's busy on the way coming by. Pee Wee B tournament this weekend. You know,
boy.
some of these teams travel in style. They had a nicer coach bus, I think, than I know Mike does a great job taking care of us, but there's sure a nice one sitting there for Pee Wee B team this weekend.
I suppose those young kids, you know, they need comfort, right?
That's right.
Mike, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Good luck this week, and let's go for a strong finish here to the regular season.
Yeah, with 4 more, it'll be a busy day.
Get a little momentum
busy
going.
couple weeks here.
Yeah. Mike Donahue, head coach of the Otter boys hockey team, will come back with more on the other side of the break. Hillcrest basketball, the topic of conversation when we return here on News Talk 1250 KBRF and streaming live through the Fergus Now app.
Grant County, your news leader is News Talk 1250 AM KBRF Fergus Falls. Depend on it. Portions of today's program may be pre-recorded.
Now is a great time to get yourself into a new Buick from Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. Their lot is filled with great vehicles like the all-new redesigned Buick Enclave. To celebrate the redesign of this customer favorite, Minnesota Motor Company is giving you an additional $1,000 off each Buick Enclave. Find out why Buicks are exceptional by design. Minnesota South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Hi, this is Pam Muxfeld, and I would just like to share what a great experience I had working with Cornerstone Cabinets. Originally, we looked at doing a total kitchen remodel, but it was hard to think about removing cupboards that were still in great shape and serve their purpose. I knew I still wanted to do something, so we downsized our project to just updating our countertop and replacing the sink and faucet. Amanda was great to work with me. Mike and his crew did a great job designing my countertop and installing the undermount sink. I would recommend you contacting them for your next project, whether it be big or small.
Cornerstone Cabinets and Countertops in their new location next to Quality Toyota on Lincoln Avenue.
Alan Haugrud, attorney-at-law, has been successfully helping clients in the Fergus Falls and Ottertail County area for over 30 years. Alan Haugrud specializes in family law, estate planning, business law, general practice, and bankruptcy. When you need an experienced attorney to handle your concerns, contact Alan Haugrud for a free initial consultation today. 998-4299. Alan Haugrud, attorney-at-law, 121 East Lincoln Avenue, downtown Fergus Falls.
CPAs that are certified to win. Smith and Sam. Smith and Sam Limited.
When you're on a trip and you're not sure how to navigate towards your destination, chances are you use a GPS. And when it comes to accounting, think of Smith & Sem as your GPS for bookkeeping. Smith & Sem will always guide you through the best path for your business needs. Smith & Sem, your numbers team, Fergus Falls.
Back to the show. It's Saturday morning, our coaches show every Saturday from 8 to 9:30 through the winter sports season, fall and winter. We go through March 8th this year. So we've got 5 weeks left after today. Donovan Rognes is here, the head coach of the Hillcrest boys basketball team. The Comets are 11-5 and had a couple of, tough games this week with conference opponents. You know, that before we get specifics there, that Little 8 conference, Donovan, you're doing great in it record-wise. You know, you're right there at the top, but boy, it's a tough night in and night out grinding schedule.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of teams that love to compete and they play hard, and so. And I always say to our players, I feel like every team gives their best against us, and we always have to go out and battle against these guys. Another full week of it ahead.
Yeah, no doubt. 3 games coming up this week, which we'll get to in a minute. But this past week on Tuesday against Hancock, you built a 15-point halftime lead. Okay, you're cruising. Everything's good, right?
Yep.
Hancock said, okay, we got to get back in this game. And they came out strong in the second half. What did they do well the second half to get right back into the fray?
You know, I think, I mean, Coach Corey over there just has their guys playing hard and believing in their system. I would say that we just kind of got tired. I don't know that we necessarily let them outplay us, but we had a big physical game against Pelican the night before, and I think our guys just started to wear down a little bit. But credit to them, they kept fighting, and they weren't going to let that lead totally go away. So
you know, I forgot about that. The Pelican game on Monday night. Let's backtrack on there because John Gulling's got a really nice team over there, and these 3-game weeks, you start with that, and Monday night games are always tough anyway.
Yeah, right. And so that Monday game was super fun. I mean, yeah, John Heather was playing really well, and they have a great team, and it was kind of, we were trailing most of the game, cut the lead down, tied the game towards the end there, and they hit a couple big shots. Credit to them, but it was a lot of fun. So it was a big grind, a very physical game.
Yeah, and again, tough to bounce back the next night, but after that fast start, you had to feel good about getting that lead. You had a little margin for error against Hancock in the second half anyway.
Yeah, and we have this boulder on our team I've never outworked, and we just want to go out and give it our all. And that's what I love about our boys, is that they're super competitive and naturally just want to go out and compete. And so it's super fun to coach.
You won the rebounding battle against Hancock by double digits. How's the rebounding game been for your team?
Good. Like, going back to what I just said about not being outworked, our guys really believe that they need to. That's a big stat line for us. And you got Preston and Ethan battling in the post, so they got some good height for them, and then Sean, and just a lot of aggressive guys that just want to go get the basketball. And so we know that's important. We stress that in practice all the time, and they're holding up to their end.
Well, and it's not just one or two guys that are doing the rebounding. You're getting a lot of guys contributing there. And point-wise, Sean and Preston Berge led you that night against Hancock. They had 20 and 17 points, respectively. So are they getting their points kind of the same way, or do they have different skills as far as in the offensive end? Is one of them a better outside shooter? Does one of them do better inside in congestion? How would you characterize their ability offensively?
It's really interesting. Those two work so hard. They appear to be a different player. You'd picture Sean as a guard, and you'd picture Preston as a post, being 6'5", but they both play inside and out. And so it's really pretty fun. Preston can go out and he can hit the 3-ball really nice, and then he can go inside and use his 6'5" height and get a bucket. And then Sean will hit the 3-ball, and then he'll go inside against a smaller guard, and he'll get his bucket. So those two, their ability to work hard and contribute they've been doing a great job in this stretch.
Yeah, coming on with great consistency, it seems, for you, game in and game out now.
Yep, they're doing great.
How about Lincoln Nash? He had 4 threes for you that night and wound up with 14 points. You've got a lot of guys now that are just kind of coming into their own, it seems like. And are they playing with more confidence?
Yeah, for sure. So I think I said this to you earlier in the year, but we just with our team shift from 2 heavy scorers last year to those guys leaving, our guys really just needed to figure out and find their groove with each other. And we're coming into that. I tell our boys all the time that our ceiling is not met. We're still figuring out who's got what role. And when we've got guys, we consistently play 7 deep, we'll get 8 and 9 there a little bit, but we've had all 7 of those guys maybe close to leading us in scoring at some point during the season. So everyone can score, and nobody's on our team is selfish about getting the score. It's who's ever got the opportunity.
And I know I always look at double-digit scoring, but it doesn't have to be double digits to be producing and helping out. And Ethan Swedberg had 8 that night. Kean Stender had 7 that night. So a lot of guys chipping in and making the most when they have their opportunities. Overall, Donovan, are you pleased with shot selection? Are you getting the shots you want?
Oh, very much so. We have a very unselfish team, and so our guys will they'll pass the ball. I told them last night when we were playing, work the shot clock. We don't need a shot early on. Like, let's pass the ball and go, not get a good shot, let's get a great shot. So they have very good discipline for the most part, and so we're able to work around, and we're very happy with our shot selection.
Brandon Evansville on Friday night, you were on the road there. You had a big lead at halftime again, and then Brandon Evansville fought back and made, hey, there's a kind of a pattern,
there's a pattern here. We got to work on that pattern.
Yeah, right. Yep. But 53-45, you did wind up on top there. And Trent Intermeister is going to have teams that compete hard.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say that the first half we came out really strong. We Kean Stender hit some big threes for us, and we shot well. We played really good defense, and then I think Trent said enough is enough, and we're going to come out and we're going to match that intensity that Hillcrest has, and they did. They outscored us the second half, obviously, but again, kudos to our guys. They kept fighting, and they were not going to go down.
You made 7 of 11 threes in that first half. Did Brandon Evansville take that away from you a little bit in the second half, close you down out there?
Yeah, I think they switched into a zone, and just for whatever reason, our guys weren't responding well to that zone pressure. So Trent switched up his defense, and so we found that as an area that we're just going to go back and review when we get some practice time and get some more continuity within that. I was very confident that we'll be just fine facing zone offenses or defenses, but they kind of got us with that last night.
Holding Brandon Evansville to 45. Anytime you hold the team under 50, you should be right there and getting that win, and you did. But defensively, you highlighted a couple of guys, Drew Fisher and Zane Holmquist, kind of playing lockdown defense out there. Are you getting some good transition opportunities from your defensive play?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we love pressuring the ball. Our guys are just in that mode of get up in your face, and then we'll look for trap opportunities, and then we get some turnovers, and then we push the ball. We're probably slowing down our points on transition a little bit because we're trying not to make such risky passes. We're trying to value the possession a little bit more. I tell our guys there's nothing worse than turning the ball over than having to go play defense for 35 seconds. That's really hard to do, right? So if you don't have that opportunity to get a for sure layup on that transition, pull out and make them play defense, because that's kind of demoralizing. So that's kind of where we're at.
When you played in that era, you didn't have the shot clock to deal with when you had the ball. How do you like it as a coach, knowing that, okay, we got to get into our offense and get a good shot here in this amount of time? Is that, do you like the way the shot clock is used, and do you feel it's a positive?
Yeah, I would say my personal opinion is I love the shot clock, and I wish it was around 20 years ago. When they did it. Yeah, it just helps keep the game moving. I mean, so many games back in my era when there's 4 minutes left and the team goes into a stall. I mean, it's like, man, I get it, right? That you're trying to take your advantage, but that's not basketball. You're supposed to go out and keep playing, keep moving, and competing all the way to the end. So that's what I love about the shot clock, is that it forces you to continue to play hard all the way through, and I think it's great.
Well, and I don't know, it doesn't seem like the shot clock comes into play that often, because you are running your offense earlier, and you don't have to be rushing at the end and settling for something better than a good shot.
Yeah, I mean, you have your handful of moments when you have to chuck up a shot at the end because of the shot clock, but to me, I think it's just a great gauge, because it tells our guys that if we can move the ball and look for a great shot within that first 25 seconds, and we don't get that, then we can say, all right, now we're looking for a good shot, right? So we can go from great to good, and then when there's a few seconds left, we just have to shoot the ball, right? But it's a good gauge for them to understand the flow of that possession. So I like it.
So you're coming off a 3-game week, and you're heading into a 3-game week. As players, I'm sure they love that, playing more games than practices. But as coaches right now, are you okay with that, or would you like to have more practice time?
Well, I think any coach would like to have more practice time, right? But for our guys to be engaged and play, and because that's what they love to do, is they love to play. So I think it's good. I think it's just time management a little bit when you know you've got three games in a week, and you know that they're human beings and their legs get tired, and so you got to watch that a little bit more. Last week we gave the boys off on Wednesday, which was a nice reprieve for them, because they had those 2 games Monday, Tuesday, and I think that's okay. Let their bodies rest and go home and get some homework caught up and all that kind of stuff. And so we'll see how this week pans out, and then another 3-game week after that. So 9 games in 3 weeks.
Wow, that's a big part of your schedule. They're over a third of your schedule in 3 weeks.
Right.
At Rothsay tomorrow night, home against Ashby on Tuesday, and then the Biggie at Border West on Friday, because they're right on your heels there in the conference.
Right. Yeah. So a week of conference basketball. So we'll be ready to go on Monday at Rothsay, and then we'll come back home on Tuesday and do our best there, and then we'll get a couple days to recoup before we go play Border West, and that's going to be a tough game. So we're looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to the Section 6A tournament. I don't know about you.
Wow. There's a lot of good teams in our section.
There really are. I mean, that's going to feel like a mini state tournament, kind of. You get out of Section 6A, you're going to be battle tested for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely 4 teams at the top of 6A that are all in that double-digit win category, and they're all battling with each other, and so it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. All right. Well, keep everybody healthy, Donovan. We'll knock on wood here, or whatever this is, but good luck to the Comets this week. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Donovan Rogdas, head coach of the Comet boys basketball team. We're going back to hockey here. Tim Lill will visit with us about the Otter girls. They start the playoffs, first team to do so, for sport to get to the postseason. Otter girls hockey playing Tuesday night at home. We'll talk about that and about the week that was on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Coaches Show on News Talk 1250 KBRF and video streaming through the Fergus Now app.
If you're ready to refresh, renovate, or reimagine your home, the Fergus Falls Home and Garden Show will be the perfect spot. Presented by Fergus Home and Hardware, it's coming to the Bigwood Event Center March 8th and 9th. Explore the latest in home improvement, landscaping, remodeling, and more. Admission is just $5 for adults, and kids 12 and under are free. The first 300 attendees will get a swag bag full of cool stuff from Ugstead Plumbing and Heating, Atlas Outdoors, and Lakeside Lumber. Spaces are filling up fast. Secure your spot at the Fergus Falls Home and Garden Show. Visit FergusFallsHomeandGardenShow.com.
Quality Toyota is proud to salute the achievements of each quality player. It takes teamwork to compete, and the Quality Player Award recognizes the extra effort by an individual in each athletic contest. Quality Toyota commends the hard work, dedication, and quality efforts of these outstanding youth. That attitude will help each quality player as they go forward. Congratulations to each of the quality players from Quality Toyota on West Lincoln Avenue in Fergus Falls. QualityToyota.net. Let's go places.
At Fabled Farmer, breakfast is more than just a meal. It's a fresh start. Savor their amazing signature dishes, like the Fabled Farmer Special, farm fresh eggs, crispy bacon or sausage, and perfectly toasted bread. Or indulge in multi-grain avocado toast, topped with pickled onions and a lemon thyme spread. Pair it with citrus greens for a wholesome twist. Eating better is easy when fresh ingredients meet delicious flavor. Make mornings count. Visit Fabled Farmer from 8 to 11 a.m. Fresh food, local flavor, every time.
Hi, I'm Sue Tate. You know, it's easy to put things off. Exercise, housework, kitchen remodel. Now there's one thing I shouldn't have put off because it just took one call to Mike at Cornerstone Cabinets and Countertops. I now have the kitchen I was dreaming about for years with lots of features and changes that I hadn't even thought about. Thank you, Mike and crew at Cornerstone Cabinets and Countertops. I love my new kitchen.
Cornerstone Cabinets and Countertops, located next to Quality Toyota on Lincoln Avenue, Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the show. Tim Lill is here to close out the morning of sports conversation, and we'll be back through March 8th with the show from 8 to 9:30. You can join us. The Otter girls are starting the postseason Tuesday. First sport to get into playoff action is girls hockey, and the Otters get a home game Tuesday against Morris Benson in the first round of the playoffs. And Tim, let's just touch on that before we review this week, because only 4 teams in your section, so you only have to win 2 games to get there. You're the defending champions, and I would say, looking at things, you're the favorite.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We'll see.
We did this before, I know.
Yeah, you got to do that.
But
you got to do the job.
It's just weird to see 4 teams only, because you've been in the coaching for quite a while. There was a time when there were 8 teams in your section. You know?
It switches around, and you know, every 2 years they change the sections for whatever reason. I don't know who they are. I don't know where they meet, but they do it, and all the coaches whine about it, but we don't get a say in anything. So you just go play where they tell you to play and try to win.
Yeah, it's just strange to see 4 teams, but that you did is what it is. You just have to play. That's right. And right now, you look at this past week, you had a couple of interesting games. Last night was crazy with 12 goals, 12-0 over a Detroit Lakes team that is obviously struggling. But there are some good things you can take out of that from your standpoint. And one of them that you mentioned when you came in, you had 3 girls get their first varsity goals, and a lot of kids who maybe don't get a regular shift during a varsity game were out on the ice a lot last night.
Yeah, I try to put those kids at they've had a lot of time at JV, but they're still there every day, and they're trying to improve, and they're great teammates. So anytime you can get those girls out there as much as possible. I think it was double shifting them. They all had a period they could play in the second. You only get 4 periods between JV and varsity, so I was double shifting those kids. They were pretty tired by the time they were done, but there was a lot of joy on the bench, and when those kids get those goals, everyone's happy.
Yeah, you had 9 different goal scorers and a whole bunch of players with assists, and one of those nights, it's you don't want to have a lot of games like that, but it's okay every now and then, I guess. But 45 shots on goal too last night for the Otters. But yeah, Atlee Duckwitz and Anna Sem and Kinsey Zender all getting their first goals. So congratulations on that, girls.
That was great.
So that was the coasting game, but boy, what a battle you had in St. Cloud on Tuesday night. 4-3. Rachel DeBrito scoring with 2 seconds remaining in the third period. Tell me about that goal. How did that develop? Because you were headed to overtime, it looked like.
No, finally, we something good happens. I mean, we just haven't had a ton of good bounces. And it's showing in our record and stuff like that. Of course, you got to execute when you're supposed to. But I didn't feel bad at all about us getting one with 2 seconds left. They'd called a timeout with a minute left and put a plan together for an offensive zone faceoff. And so we tried to counter that with a defensive play, and they got it out to their point, and Hannah Johnson and DeBrito both went out there to block that shot. And I think it went off of Hannah, and Rachel picked it up and drove down. It was like a one-on-one. She got to the outside and had a good shot and followed her rebound. And she got it with 2 seconds left. So that was a lot of fun.
One penalty in the whole game?
Yeah. Well, that was called.
Well, okay.
They let him play, and it was a rough one, but I don't mind that.
No.
You got to learn how to battle, and you play these. Eventually, we want to play these strong teams, and games are won on the boards in all the battles and everything, and you got to learn how to play through it and play tough. I could hear it in the stands behind us. There's a ton of referees behind me calling all these penalties, but I don't get too shook up about that, and I let the refs play their game, and we grew from it. We played a hard, tough game that we really needed, and our forecheck was phenomenal that night. We had kids moving their feet and causing turnovers, and all the things that coaches like to see.
Well, I don't know if you've ever had a team go a whole game without a penalty, but that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, not this one.
No.
It's pretty rare.
Yeah, I had to do a double take that. Is this wrong, this stat sheet, or not? But no, it wasn't. Your goals that night, Maddie Grenigal got the thing started for you with Maddie Brimhall assisting, and Maggie is, she's a goal scorer.
She is from the blue line, and you see it in practice how there isn't a rep she takes that she isn't trying as hard as she can to score every single time. And when you do that, it eventually ends up in game situations, and she's starting to put a lot of pucks away. When she crosses that blue line, if she's going to the net, it better go in, or she's going to be upset for a while. I mean, that's just the compete in her, and it's fun to see her get paid on those.
Yeah, it's an exciting play, when you hit the net with a shot from there.
They gave her just a little bit of room. She came in from the left side, and they really didn't take the middle away, so she just took it right to the net, and I don't know if she slipped it in 5-hole or where it went in, but it went in, so it was good.
Well, it gets you going. You get the lead there, and then you get a 2-0 lead when Katie Berggren scores from Ashley Wohlers. There's a couple of names that we don't see a lot on the scoring sheet, or haven't this year, but they created one there for you early.
They've been playing fantastic. The purple line, we call them. Some would call them the third line, but they bring energy, and Katie's worked so hard on her having a good stick. Hustle's never been the problem. And she's flying around out, all over the place, and she's just got to believe in herself and in her stick. And now she got another one last night too. So, that's 2 goals in a week, and it took her a long time to get her first this year. So that's going in the right direction. And I don't know anyone that plays the game and has more fun than Bergie. So it's always fun to watch her out there. It's hard to not laugh just thinking about she's such a personality.
They got their goal when they had their only penalty, so they're shorthanded.
Yeah.
There's only one penalty in the whole game, and they're shorthanded, and they scored. So what happened there?
Well, we worked on the power play, and we finally got one, and it was with a minute left. And this is probably on me, but I put that first unit out there because I thought, well, we have a minute left, and we'll get some offensive opportunities. But they were pretty tired, and we had a turnover. At the blue line, we're just trying to make a play, which is okay. I don't care if you make a mistake and trying to make a hockey play, and we end up something bad happens, but not in the playoffs. But you got 25 games to try to get better, and we were just trying to make a play. It didn't work out, and our defensemen were just gassed because they were out there too long. I said that was my fault. And the girl came in and made a really nice play, and Mia played a really solid game, but in that time she got us, and so our one power play, we gave up a shorty.
Isn't that the way it goes? Reese Ruska scored the goal. She had all 3 of their goals that night. She got one, to tie the game early in the third period, just a minute into the third period, and it was game on then.
And, I think we had the lead. I don't know, was it 2-0 after the first or 2-1?
2-1, yep.
But we've had all year, we've kind of played where if we have a lead, we get content, and we've really needed to work on that. But we stayed hungry because we know we're going to get kicked back eventually, and we did. And they tie it up, and then we go back and get another one, and they tie it up, and then we get the game winner. And sometimes it's hard when you're playing well, and the other team scores a goal, and you got to keep your chins up and be ready to keep fighting. And that was the best thing that I seen coming out of that St. Cloud game. And I think the girls fed off of it too. And great week in practice, and then we went to DL and got another one last night. So it was a really fun game for coaches and players.
Yeah, that win over St. Cloud could be a huge turning point for you in a lot of ways, I think, to get that 4-3 victory the way you did. And Hannah Johnson got an unassisted goal for you there to give you the 3-2 lead in that third period. And Hannah has had a few of those. She works hard out there and creates a lot of opportunities.
There's no quitting that kid. I preach, especially at the end of shifts, you got to get it deep. Donnie was talking about how they turned it over in overtime. I listened to his, because it's so relatable. And he said they had a bad change and they didn't get it deep. And, goals come off of 7 seconds within turnovers. And I'm like, he might be onto something there. And those are the things that coaches watch. And, so Johnny is going to get it deep. But for some reason, she decides she wants to get this goal. And I think there was 3 or 4 St. Cloud players that were waiting for her to dump it. And she just kept going. I would call it out of control, but got through three or 4 of their players just on sheer will. I don't have another player on the team that can do that. And then made a great move and got the game winner after probably a 90-second shift. And I didn't want to be the one to come in and says, you got to get that deep, Johnny, after she just scored the go-ahead goal. But yeah, the kid's special, and she's such a team player, and it was fun to see her get that one.
Last year, you had such great success postseason, of course, got down to state. How much does the extra games and the tournament atmosphere help your girls who were a part of that last year as they head into this year? Can you feel that as a coach, that there's a little more, I don't want to say relaxed feeling, but maybe a more confident type of an atmosphere going into the postseason, or higher expectations?
Yeah, the expectation and the bar, maybe the coaches do too, but maybe we set it too high during the regular season. And even if you win, you don't feel you played good enough. And now you don't find joy in those games you win because you're focusing on the postseason. And it's hard not to do because you want to be perfect all the time. But then in hindsight, you look back and go, we got to get some joy out of these games. So, the girls know where the bar is. They know where they want to get. And it's coming soon. So we're really focusing just one day at a time. Last night was let's be good, and then let's be really good on Monday in practice. And then we'll see what Tuesday brings. But heading into the postseason is one day at a time.
Tuesday at 7, Morris Benson coming in. Mark Johnson will have the call on Channel 977 FM as the Otters begin playoff action, and a win in the first round will put you into the finals the following Tuesday.
I believe, the 11th or something. I don't know.
I think that's
one day at a time, Craig. I don't know the dates. You know that.
I know. Yeah, it's at the Runestone.
Yeah, it's back in Alley.
Yeah.
Always. Yep.
Tim, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Always.
We'll look forward to the playoffs.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for our Coaches Show. We'll be back next Saturday from 8 to 9:30 here on News Talk 1250 KBRF and streaming live through the Fergus Now app.